Hi guys, this is Omer from MMOHut.com. I'm doing first impression gameplay video for Saga, free-to-play real-time strategy MMO published by Saga Games. Now I'll spend about 5-10 minutes running around checking the game out and make some comments. If you guys want to play Saga or just learn more about it, check out our full review on the link below. Now guys, this game has been out for a while, but it has never really been too popular, but I'm going to go ahead and make my video on it though. So we start off by creating a new nation. It is an RTS game, so it's pretty unique. In Saga, two alliances battle for supremacy, the Order and the Brotherhood. So there's two factions that fight against each other, and the game has 6 factions, which are the playable races. The Orcs, the Dark Elves, the armies of undead, the Giants, and the Elves of Nature, and the Dwarves of Machines. What? And the Dwarves of Machine. That's pretty weird. Let's go ahead and make our nation over here. So we select one of the 6 races in the game. 3 Order, 3 Brotherhood. So it looks like the evil versus good versus evil. Dark Elves, Orcs, and Undead are evil, while the Dwarves, the Elves, and the Humans are good. Let's go ahead and play Dwarves, the technical geniuses of the Dwarves. And we can make our own banner as well, so you can have a lot of fun with this if you want. I'm going to just try to do something really cool real quick. I'm not going to spend too much time here, but let's go get some neon green with the black. It looks pretty nice. We can get a sword, you can get a lot of different emblems on here. And there's enough variety here to keep things pretty unique. Let's go with the fist. You can't go wrong with the fist. There you go, that looks pretty pro. I don't know what this is. Choose your domain. This affects basically your starting layout of your main area, which you'll see when I get into the game. My nation will be called Awesomeness. Can't go wrong with that. Apparently it was already taken. Let's put one more S on it. We shall be good to go. So here we go. We're logging in. Let's see how this game plays out. Like I said though, this game is pretty old now. It's been out for well over a year, but it never really managed to get too popular.
We'll meet you on the battlefield.
Right when you start, you're presented with a voice tutorial, which makes things very easy. It makes getting to the game not very easy. So we can see my town over here. I start off with 3 buildings, and I'm gonna go ahead and build some stuff right now. If you ever played Age of Empires, Rise of Nations, or even StarCraft, or any RTS game, you should be familiar with this layout. We got our resource at the top: gold, wood, stone, food, mana shards, and population, and etc. Let's click build and see what we can do.
Buildings build very
I'm gonna go ahead and build a build farm over here and see where we can put this bad boy. So we got some building locations over here. Let's build our farm, and let's build a house just because we can, and we have some starting monies. So these buildings will eventually build, but they will take a very long time. We're saying hours and hours and hours. Some buildings you have to leave on overnight to build. So for now, let's go right into the actual core gameplay. So I have to go to my quest map. I have to click my temple. My temple right here. So we click our quest map. And over here you can really experience the game's single player component, which is the mission oriented game. You can see the game's world over here, pretty large, and it means there's a lot of different missions to complete as well. You can see my city is located over here. Now the game is a little bit tricky. It markets itself as a real-time strategy MMO, but that would imply this persistent world. You can literally just move your armies from one base to another. But that's not the case here. It's more like all the missions are instanced, your own town is instanced, and the only way to really fight each other is through, declaring war and such. So the PvP component is major part of the game, but early on you won't be doing any of it. And you can hear the voiceovers, but I'm going to mute that down a bit because you can do that, you can listen to that when you play, and I do recommend you listen to it because it's a really good way to learn the game. So let's go training the basics, and now we're going to skip the basics. We're going to go battle and capturing so we can actually fight some stuff. Alright, no, I can't go there yet. I gotta go one at a time. So I do need to complete the tutorial. Join battle. Leave battle. Start battle. Here we go. The loading times can be a bit annoying, especially if you're on a slower computer. Even for me, they take a decent amount of time. But the game has a lot of depth to it. But I'll talk about that a bit more later. So we can see as soon as the battle begins, you basically have to summon your units. Field the units, as the game likes to call them. Depending on the battle and depending on the mission, you can only field so many units. So I'll just click these guys and these guys. That's it. I can't field my last pick because it requires command points, and I have no more command points left. Click start. So the battle begins, and you have to basically complete the various missions. Over here, it's quite easy. I just have to talk to this dude up here. Oh, over there, I believe. So yeah, we're going over there. Let's move our dudes over here. I click next. I'm gonna skip this. Where do I go? Now you can see over my unit's health. There's a green bar, which is their health. The next one's morale, I believe, or stamina. Well, the last one's morale, and the second one's stamina, I believe. You can even make your units charge if you just simply double click. Now, the battlefields are very open, so you get this whole Rome Total War, or just the whole Total War kind of feel to it. You can see our units all look pretty cool. So we're going to battle with these 3 dudes over here. Not really a fair fight though, because there's 3 of them. I love how the battles take place, because you see the guys in the back just swinging, as if it's all one unit, but there's many different dudes here. And based on their health bars, you'll actually see some of the units die. So we'll see how, maybe we'll get one of them down. Wow, what are these guys doing? Go help, lazy bums. So now we're just ganking these 2 dwarves or whatever they are. Wait, aren't I supposed to be dwarves though? Why am I attacking my own people? Doesn't make sense to me. Well, I have human light infantry. Guys, I'm the Dwarven Empire, but I employ human light infantry. Pretty disgraceful. So we got some quest loot over here which we can take. Good stuff. We got 2 pieces of quest loot which we'll get at the end of the battle. Next. Now hopefully after I kill, is there anything else to kill here? Yep, one last army over here I think. And I should be able to complete this tutorial. There's 3 basic tutorial missions and they basically teach you the aspects of the game. And they're worth paying attention to if you want to get serious with the game. There's buildings as well in battles which you can capture for bonus CP. The battles between players are really intense though. Basically all the missions are pretty straightforward and fairly easy. And you can actually complete the missions under various different difficulties. Kind of like Dungeons & Dragons Online, where you do the different dungeons on the different difficulties. So it adds some more depth to the game. The single player component is enormous. There are so many missions in the game. How did my guy go under the bridge over there? But you can spend a lot of time with just the single player components. And you really have to do the single player a lot to get really good at the game, to get your armies trained. If you just kind of skip this whole single player component and try jumping right to PvP, you're gonna get owned because the armies you fight against from other players will just be more trained than yours. And you can see my units actually gain experience by fighting. So each individual army, each group of units gets leveled up and gets stronger. And as they level up, I can start equipping them with items. You can see this old mace requires level 1. It gives my guys 3% bonus armor and 2% bonus HP. So eventually I can equip my armies with very powerful weapons. This one requires all level 1, but there's higher level equipment as well. So I completed this quest and I get to go over here to leave. Now you guys won't see any actual PvP components, which is the main part about Saga, but unfortunately I can't really get there that fast because you really have to grind it out to get there, and you just can't do it early on. There's so much early game grinding, quest grinding as I like to say. And you can build more advanced buildings later, but I can't do anything else right now. These 2 buildings are still under construction. And you can even pillage gold and other various resources from the individual missions and matches. Let's go ahead and do one more mission real quick, if I can do that. You can see the gold level mission, the silver level, and the bronze. And there's some heroic missions and PvP missions. But we're going to go training and capturing and see if we can complete this real quick. I like Saga because it's unique, it's a very different game, and it's the only game of its kind. But I feel that they could have done a lot more with it. I mean, if it was really a persistent world, that would have been much more awesome than this whole instanced gameplay. But it's really hard to do a legitimate persistent world MMORPG. That would be crazy. I'm still waiting for it though. So we start over here. I can field more units. Like some missions you can field more units than others. And there's more kinds of units than what I have right now. I only have archers, light infantry, and cavalry. Though I can only field 2 of them at a time. Continue. Moving out. On our way. Like like a good RTS, the units say random things as you click on them. You don't want to make them charge for no reason because they get tired. And there's a lot of strategy involved as well in tactics. And you can see, I'll show you that real quick. Man, that tutorial guy is chatty. Over here you can see my formations. There's a defensive formation, a melee defense, there's a ranged defense, melee defense, no formation, and aggressive formation. And they have various different impacts on your character's stats. So if you're fighting against enemy ranged units, you want to do a defensive formation against ranged, because you get bonus to blocking missile attacks. And there's melee defense as well. So there's a lot of micro involved too, though not nearly as much as a game like StarCraft or a genuine RTS. There's still a good deal of tactics involved. And when battles get really large scale, there's a lot more micro involved. And what I'm doing right now is taking this house over here, this gold mine actually, not a house. When my flag goes over, I get to claim this gold mine. And really the point of doing this is it increases your CP. The more buildings you control in a battlefield, the more units you're allowed to field. So fighting over strategic spots where the buildings are is very important, because you just have more units than other players. And it adds more depth to the PvP as well. I feel like the game has a lot of potential, but very few people actually play it. which is a big downside for me. There's a global chat over here as well, so if you're ever confused, you can just ask somebody over there for help, and I'm sure they'll be willing to help. Well guys, I am running out of time. If you guys do want to play Saga or just learn more about it, check it out full review on the link below. Later guys. Why is it that all these guys look identical? I have an army of clones here.